Welcome to TheoTRADE. This is Don Kaufman. It's October 30th, 2024. Just a few hours left inside of today's trading session, but hey, why wait? Because we are on the eve of some really critical risks inside of this marketplace. We've got earnings, we've got PCE data, we've got more earnings, we have got the employment situation. It is, there's a lot of risk coming. Let me explain exactly what I am looking at in this marketplace right now. Making a few trades, obviously based around earnings, making some trades inside of NVIDIA, taking a little bit of a short-term, short position inside of NVIDIA. Look, let's break it all down here, of course, on this TheoTRADE evening update. To begin with, the S&Ps. Again, you've got just over about an hour and a half left inside of the trading session, but I figure here, why wait? It's not going to matter where we are right now. Okay, it's not where the ball is right now. It is where it is going, and that's why I say no hesitation whatsoever in this marketplace. This is about to be big leagues coming in here. Obviously, after the bell, we're going to hear from Microsoft. Evidently, that thing could probably move markets, no question about it. But to compound some of the risk, you've obviously got Meta. That too, basically hitting highs today, ready for the possibility of a huge breakout. Well, we'll see. Okay, in terms of Meta. I'm filling on some more NVIDIA trades here as I am recording this. So, and obviously, I am taking some positions inside of NVIDIA. And I don't mind saying it. I'm actually taking a bearish position, okay, in NVIDIA, well, for the next 16 days, just predicated on the idea maybe Microsoft isn't all that rosy. But if I miss in Microsoft, now what else do I have? Oh, the possibility of Meta. If Meta were to miss, that actually could kind of cool off the AI trade. And then, of course, last but definitely not least, could be Apple. I don't think Amazon's actually in that kind of jurisdiction of AI just yet. But you have NVIDIA rolling over ever so slightly over today. Of course, there is a disaster in Supermicro going on today as well. Nevertheless, let's move into it. All right. One of the things when I talk about like on the eve is some pretty big risk. Look, this marketplace, not just tonight, not just tomorrow night, because again, tomorrow night, some more of the titans of tech are actually coming out, and it's wild right now. What else do you say besides like, look, Microsoft is a $3.2 trillion behemoth. That's not enough for you. You got 3.5 trillion of Apple, coming out. Obviously, Meta is like almost like an afterthought in here. It's only 1.5 trillion, but all of these, can dramatically influence none other than NVIDIA, which is, again, neck and neck with, the market capitalization, of course, of Apple. Nevertheless, that could change quite dramatically. NVIDIA trading closer to about $3.4 trillion at this point. And the most interesting thing about, some of the earnings coming out is the influence they'll have upon obviously NVIDIA. And it's one of the reasons I'm actually taking the position in NVIDIA. I don't mind taking some short-term risk, maybe looking for NVIDIA to possibly roll over even before the next earnings announcement. So I'm actually trading this just 16 days out, just a quick in-out spread, one strike in the money, one strike out of the money, trading for about 95 to 96 cents is this 141, 139 put spread over here. Again, only good for the next 16 days, but that is an earnings trade unto itself. Now, look, if the risk of the mega market caps is not enough for you, you're going to compound that risk with the fact that we have PCE data, which is inflation data coming out tomorrow morning. So for that, I'll cruise over to the calendar for just a moment. There's not that much to comment on over here. Look, I think you can make both a bullish and bearish argument for heated inflation and or lack thereof. Either way you want to put this is going to be a market moving event. And if you're not happy with PCE data, then you just come to the employment situation, of course, of Friday morning. Look, between now and the end of the week, the single most important thing is over here, as I said, you're kind of on the eve of risk, and pricing this into November 1st. Oh, the market is literally still pricing over a $70 move. But, before I even go any deeper into that, well, but the S&P said they're going to have a $70 move. But here's the really crazy thing. The entire week, the expected move for the entire week, breaks down to $105 move. So the point that I'd like to make, and probably the single most effective point that I can make in this evening's video is, look, early in the week, the marketplace was projecting, as I said a moment ago, expected move is basically $105. Actual move thus far, massively unchanged. There has been no movement. Okay, you got nothing going on. So this is a point in time where, look, I'm not going to sit here and try to prognosticate about, my directional biases. One minute you can be bullish in here, the next you're going to be bearish. You're going to get thrown around a little bit. And let me show you exactly, okay, what I mean by that. Now, let's also not diminish the fact that the risks are coming up. There happens to be an election next week. Yes, of course. But I want to show you something interesting. So VIX, I think a lot of people do look at VIX, okay? VIX is obviously elevating a little bit. But here's the crazy thing about VIX. VIX looks out, okay, 30 days. VIX looks out 30 days. So it's like a 30-day average of implied volatility. But here's the most interesting thing about VIX. VIX is blind to any options that have 9 days, okay, or less. It cannot see. VIX can't see 9 days or less. So for that, and here's why I'm saying you're on the eve of some very heavy risk. For that, we're actually going to cruise over right here. Okay, what's this? This is a 9-day VIX. What do you think the 9-day VIX does? Well, this one actually averages risk out about 9 days. And what you're actually seeing right now is basically the highest 9-day volatility that we've seen since early August, when we had Mr. Toad's Wild Ride kind of break out. Again, I want to zoom in on this for just a moment, because I would anticipate that this volatility, okay, first of all, is probably not being watched by many, but this volatility is going to continue to come up, okay, where the marketplace kind of thinks to itself, and most traders probably think to themselves, like, look, volatility it's very likely to subside, because after the election, volatility is going to subside, okay? Look, I'm actually going to counter that one. I don't think volatility is going to subside. I actually see the VVIX all ramped up. I see short-term volatility ramped up. I actually have long-term volatility also amped a little bit, okay? And quite frankly, okay, I think it's worth the shot. I actually took a bullish position inside of VIX itself today. Again, I took a bullish position inside of VIX, not because I necessarily want volatility to rage, but I think that the marketplace is looking for those risks to subside, okay? And I'm not sure that that's actually in the cards. Everywhere you look on the screen, you're like, well, this market capitalization, look, it's only going to take like one apple, okay, to burst the bubble that is technology right now. Oh, and of course, we'll turn around and go, well, it's just their iPhone sales. Their iPhone sales are down, okay? But that's going to impede upon everything, including, of course, spending inside of AI. At this point in the game, I think somebody has to show degrees of profitability, okay, when it relates to artificial intelligence. Somebody other than NVIDIA, they got to start to show, okay, the fruits of the spending out there, because at some point, look, there's billions of dollars being spent quarterly on, again, AI, and not much to show for it. I think actually it's going to be really interesting when you start hearing from the likes of Microsoft and Meta tonight. It's actually one of the reasons, not only did I take a bearish position inside of NVIDIA, which I've done before and struck out, but that coupled with the fact that the election's next week and everybody's like, well, after the election, things are going to subside. Listen, elections have been known, okay, to throw curveballs over here. So I'm going to take a bullish position inside of VIX. So look, trading right now, it's not so much about like, what do you think the S&Ps are going to do? Okay, it's about taking very strategic shots. For example, again, the strategic shot is, only one of these big tech firms has to miss for NVIDIA to possibly get some sell side activity. I like that one, okay? The other one is, again, the election, when the marketplace is looking for risk to subside, well, I'll take the other side of that. I think it's actually, again, it's a great, inexpensive trade to just simply say, like, look, if we're wrong, okay, if we're going to be wrong on this VIX position, then so be it. But look at this. I can actually buy a $10 wide call spread inside of VIX for 62 cents. I don't know, man. How can I go wrong doing that? Just take the shot. If we're right, beautiful. You know, I'm not going to make a full $10, but I might be able to make 4 or 5 out of a 60-cent trade. Okay, why not take that position coming into, again, what is a lot of risk? So here we are in the eve of some big earnings announcements, but even bigger than that is going to be some of the economic news, and obviously, okay, hitting our stride, of course, next week into the election. And that's something I'm going to cover a lot more, of course, in this weekend's update. I want to thank each and every one of you for joining us here at TheoTRADE. Have a wonderful evening. Bye-bye.